All right, y'all. Welcome back to Liberty Libations. My name's Jake Green, joined by Kat Hartley of Free Girl Theory, and today we've got Scott Horton chatting with us. Scott, can you introduce yourself to folks who might not know who you are?
Well, I'm the director of the Libertarian Institute. I'm the editorial director of antiwar.com. I wrote some books about foreign policy, and I do the Scott Horton Show and Provoked with Daryl Cooper.
Heck yeah.
That's most of it.
Dude, that new show with Daryl Cooper is amazing. How did y'all get hooked up originally?
Let's see. I guess we were Twitter friends originally, and then I can't remember exactly. I think I must have interviewed him on my show first.
Gotcha.
Or something, and then I did Unraveling with him and
Okay.
Jocko Willing.
Yeah.
And so we've been buddies since then. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, dude, that show's killer. What's been y'all's reception, like viewership? Like, how's your audience been? How's the reception been to the new show?
It seems to be growing. It's a very informal kind of a show. You know what I mean? Like, we don't like prepare exactly what we're gonna do ahead of time. We just kind of pick a couple subjects and then just sort of discuss them. It's Friday night, kind of kickback sort of show, and take questions from the audience and stuff like that. So, it's not maybe like the most hard hitting and audience capturing type of a show, but we've done pretty good. I don't know how it compares to other shows, but we've got, I guess, 50,000 something subscribers or something.
Love it.
I think something like that.
Heck yeah. You just appeared on Rogan's show. I thought that episode was great. I thought it was about time. I was talking to your assistant about it earlier, how I thought it came at like the perfect time for what's happening in the world and your career, as far as how long I've been following you. What's been like your reception, the reception of the folks to that episode? Because generally there's a big to-do about whoever's on Rogan.
Yeah. I think, the comments on the YouTube channel seem to all be very positive.
Okay.
On my Twitter feed, everybody's just really excited about it and stuff.
Nice.
I think actually the worst criticism of it that I've seen was just my own, because I screwed up like 3 times. Kind of bothers me.
We're our own worst critics, man. I get
Everybody
it.
else is like, nah, but,
What'd you screw up on?
well,
Yeah, why don't you rehash what you messed up on? Let's dig into that wound.
so one thing was I got a little out over my skis on America being behind the uprising in Kazakhstan in January of 2022. And then when he called me on it, like, explain more, I said what I actually know about it, which is, so it's not like I left it wrong. I said it wrong the first time. And then I explained that I had to actually walk it back a step. Actually, I don't know that it was America that did that.
Right.
I know that the Rand Corporation said, here's what we could do. And then it happened, and it was armed groups who must have been backed by the Turks and or the CIA, like in the thing that was happening there, like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure. And there were, I have in my book some indications of American government prior knowledge and whatever, but I never had hard proof that the U.S. was behind that.
Got it.
That was like more of a surmise, and then I stated it as a flat fact, and he was like, tell me more about that. And I was like, actually, I can't back up what I just said. Let me correct myself. So try not to do that on the biggest show in the world, you know what I mean? And
Correcting yourself live on air, though, that's the best
well,
way to do it,
I
at
would
least.
definitely rather admit I was wrong a second ago and be right from now on,
Yeah.
even live. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to sit here and be stubborn about bullshit. That's not my job. Trying to remember what was the other one. There were 2 stupid verbal typos too, where I said that Hans Dietrich Genscher was the foreign minister of Great Britain.
Okay.
When obviously I meant to say Germany's stupid. Like, how in the world could I just do that? And then I turned right around, like within like 45 seconds of that, I called Great Britain Germany. I
actually remember that one.
backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I called Great Britain Russian, because I said Threads was the Russian version. The first time I said it was like, it's the English version of The Day After.
Okay.
The movie about America getting nuked, right?
Yeah.
So this is the English version of The Day After. It's called Threads. And I got it right the first time, but then the second time I referred to it, I said it was the Russian version.
Got it.
No, I mean to say it was the Russian version of a story of England getting into a nuclear war with Russia.
Right.
An English version. So I just did it again.
You just did it again. I think you just did it
Dang
again. Let's clip that real quick.
At least I noticed that time instead of like the next day when I'm watching it and go, oh.
At least the comments aren't full of people saying he's an idiot. How could he possibly do
I
that?
actually posted my corrections like as soon as I saw it, I like post it in the comments. I'm sorry,
like
guys.
tag the
Oh,
time
God,
and
I
all
was
that?
man, it's stupid.
Have you noticed like an increase in like your followers or
I'm
engagement?
not sure.
Do you pay attention to that at all? Because
Yeah,
not a lot of people do.
Like it's hard to tell like from day to day the Twitter numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I should check Provoked and the Scott Horton show on
Yeah.
YouTube and see like if there's a bump there.
Yeah, it probably was.
They have the analytics and all that stuff, right? I just never looked at all.
They do. That's so tedious and not my thing
I'm
that
sure
I
there
can't
must
get
have been
into
some
it.
kind of bump there because there's a lot of new people who never heard of me before. So
Yeah.
and I don't know, but like overall, I guess what I was told was the same kind of response I got from you was like that it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
People liked it, thought I didn't fail horribly, which that was really the only test because I get interviewed about the subject matter all the time.
Right.
I explain stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So I knew I was just going to say stuff that I've already said to somebody else at least once or whatever, right? But the challenge was, is he going to like me? And is the audience going to like me? Or are they going to not like me? You know what I mean?
There was one thing that y'all were kind of arguing about, and I think it had to do with the chips in Taiwan.
Oh, yeah. That was the other thing that I was going to say. Thank you. That was it. Like, I don't know enough about that. So I kind of was cavalierly saying,
Yeah.
pack the stuff up in ships and sail it to America then.
And he kept trying to say, it's just not that easy.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, then look, just invest the money and build it here. And he's saying it's not that easy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about that. I think, capital investment and a bunch of engineers working on a project together can do lots of things. There's nothing magical about Taiwan.
Dude, I agree.
It's just a place. So his
Yeah.
point, though, was smart and something that I don't know enough about, which is that the thing is, in this case, you have this kind of forest of companies very close together that have worked together over a generation to the companies themselves being parts of this supremely oiled machine that make each other work. And that trying to replicate that would be a goddamn miracle, right? Like the way that they were able to do it was, and that's what it takes to do the chips that they,
they've built
the
a,
advances they make and all that. And the thing is about it is, like, I should have just shut up immediately and just said, look, man, like, fuck those chips. We're just going to have to figure it out another way because we're not going to fight a war. And in fact, I did ultimately say to him, well, it's not worth fighting a war over. And he's like, of course not. Like, nobody's saying that.
Right.
So, which to me, that's the whole point. It's like,
Yeah.
ultimately, what are you going to do about it?
Didn't we just stop selling weapons to Taiwan?
I have no idea.
I think
I
it
don't keep up
happened
with Taiwan
yesterday,
at all.
There was some, like, Trump was withholding some aid, and the question was whether this was a favor to China or whether he was just trying to extort more money and more, like, a higher package, a bigger package out of the Taiwanese.
Oh,
The
interesting.
purchase of one.
Right.
So I don't know the details. So, and,
Yeah.
we usually am better about just saying, you know what, Joe, I don't know enough about that.
Yeah. But I mean, your point makes sense. Like, the years they've built, they've had growing that knowledge base and all of this information and knowledge that they have, like that in and of itself would be hard to just plop down here. Like
Man, like, pay them money.
There we go.
Like each and every one of those engineers.
Yep.
Well, how much are you making? We'll double that.
If we can bring over a bunch of Nazi scientists after World War II, I think we can bring over some Taiwanese
Exactly. Yeah,
chip makers.
Exactly. It's like Willie Nelson had this guy. I knew his name. Mickey is the harmonica guy.
Okay.
I started palling around with them, playing harmonica.
Oh, nice.
And Willie says to the other guy, like, "Hey, how much are we paying him?" And the guy says, "Nothing." And Willie says, "Well, double it."
That's perfect. Yes.
And he's been playing harmonica with Willie ever since.
I love that.
And
That's
to this
great.
day, I just saw him a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the thing. Like, whatever, man, it's capital investment. As I said to Joe, you know what we should do? We should just cut the military budget
There we go.
and let private investors pick the very best chip manufacturers that they want to bet on and see what happens. You
There
know
we
what I
go.
mean? That's the deal. They
Heck
got to
yeah.
be wafer thin. I get it. Thinnest wafers you could possibly wafer, man. Go for it. Somebody's got to do it. That's for sure. But, like, And what idiot foreign policy was it? Don't tell me that it was just IBM and Dell made bad business decisions.
Right.
It had to have been U.S. policy that we want to build up and subsidize and help to cooperate and to help offshore American manufacturing companies and whatever to Taiwan to help build this thing in the first place.
Yeah.
But what kind of foolish decision was that?
Yeah.
And what kind of security do they have when they're 90 miles offshore of mainland China?
Yeah, and if you're going to enter into those partnerships, why not have some type of funnel where we still get all the information and the knowledge and the experience of people coming here to work on that same stuff? Like, that seems like a huge oversight.
Yeah. And maybe it is, Michael Dell's oversight that and the guys that run AMD and IBM and whatever, that they just didn't, especially like AMD and Intel.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Figure it out. Do better. You need to do better. Do better at making microchips, AMD. Why would you hire people on the other side of the planet when you could develop that stuff in Texas in the first place and not be in this crisis point where you got to figure out how to solve it,
Yeah, 100%. Got to ask you a question. What is this can that's not Dr. Pepper?
They don't have Dr. Pepper here. We're in Michigan.
I haven't looked at the sodas up here.
I mean,
I'm from Texas too, so I'm a Dr. Pepper guy.
I'm sure at the store they got it or whatever, but here they don't.
I thought it was funny. Joe called you out for that.
You did mention your whole case of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
thought we were going to be going 3 hours. I was like, I want to come prepared and have one to offer my host.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, dude, this guy came with his own Dr. Pepper.
So I want to talk a little LP stuff real quick.
Sure.
You live in Texas. You're part of the LP delegation from Texas. What is the vibe like within LP Texas? Because when I joined the LP, it was way after I moved out of Texas, so I don't know anything about what is going through y'all's ranks right now. So yeah, what's going on in LP Texas?
You know better than me.
Okay.
I show up when I can.
Yeah. We show up here. That's a big commitment.
Yeah, and on the margin, try to make a small difference on certain things. But as far as like what all is going on within the state, really is not within my
Gotcha.
frame, man. I just have too many jobs.
Yeah.
What did you think of the chair debate? Were you there for that?
Yeah. So
I was doing so much.
I really think that people should keep in mind when they're something like that this is going to be on video too. So like, you can get caught up in the moment a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people should get like stuck in their own head all the time, but like you got to be able to like split the difference a little bit and be like, okay, wait a minute. What examples does this set? There was a video of a chair debate years ago where they started arguing about whether you should have to have a driver's license or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, this is a great argument for libertarian Facebook, but this is a chair debate. Maybe it was even a presidential debate. Or
I think it was
the vice presidential candidates.
Well, there was a presidential one that was similar too at some point.
But yeah, and then so having a bunch of guys, cursing each other and booing each other and just like letting chaos break out when they're supposed to be talking about things just looks very bad for the party overall, almost regardless of what they're saying. You can watch it like a silent movie and you're just like, who are these guys? You know what I mean? So that is tough. I mean, there are good dudes up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are.
I actually am friends with the most disruptive of them.
Oh, really?
Not that I would endorse all of his opinions or behaviors.
That is fair.
But I know the guy and I like it. But
So was that a show? Was that like a Trump-like show where he's like, oh, they all hate me, they won't even let me speak?
maybe.
That's what
he likes to
Jared
do
was
all
telling
this.
me. Because he was
She's a little new to the LP, so she didn't know who Jeremy Coffin was until this weekend.
He's always been a bit of a bone thrower.
There we go. Yeah.
He's probably like the guy in the libertarian movement, like furthest to the right, who would still call himself a libertarian. And maybe even there are guys not as right-wing as him that would not call themselves libertarians. But particularly on racial stuff, I think he can be extremely right-wing on those things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just know him from real life a little, so it's different. You know what I mean? Politically, he's not in alignment with me on
That's fair.
some crucial things for sure. And as far as in the debate today, I think it's regretful that the whole thing played out that way.
Yeah.
And then as far as the guys, I like Wes Benedict. And
He spoke well.
I like, Jim Ostrowski.
He was
I've
good
been
too.
friends with. I've known both of those guys for a very long time.
Okay.
With them. I don't know the other guys.
I thought those two were the best performers in the debate anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I thought they had especially Jim had very like concise answers, which is tough for most libertarians.
Yeah. There it is right now.
Nice. Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
thought he did great.
whenever what was his name? Kaufman would speak, you could see him like on the camera and he was just shaking his head. He was so mad.
Yeah, it was a weird debate format. It's not how I would have set it up. I think we've been preaching this for years that the LP has a massive PR problem and a massive media problem, and we're not good at showcasing the best things that the LP has to offer. And we're trying to fix that a little bit at a time. We'll see how it goes. But overall, how's your experience been here since you've been? Because I see, whenever I see you walking around, you're always being hounded by about 30 people at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good people, man.
Yeah.
I kind of joined the party. I put off joining the party for many years for a lot of reasons, but I finally joined back in 2020 or 22 or 19 or some kind of things like that.
Was it before or after COVID?
Probably around that time.
The main Mises, I guess after. The main Mises Caucus takeover was in 22.
Yeah.
I think I joined like maybe in 21 then, I guess.
Yeah.
But I've been, I was an advisor to the Libertarian Party presidential candidate in 2004, and sort of kind of tried with Gary Johnson and Joe Jorgensen a little bit, although that didn't work so well. But I was Michael Badnarek's foreign policy advisor. So
Gotcha.
I kind of have been around the fringes of the party a little bit, trying to help where I can.
Yeah.
And then, the party was getting too left-wing and too woke and needed a correction from the right. So I supported the Mises Caucus intervention in 2022. And so that brought a lot of new people into the party from the movement who had been very separate before, and that's good. The problem is that really there are different things, but the main reason that we did it was to make sure that we had friendly leadership in the party before we run Dave Smith for president.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of having a bunch of wokists who hate our guts running the party? And what's the point of running if you have that, right?
Yep.
So, but then he didn't run.
Yeah.
So we took over the party, and which was wise, by the way, for him to decide that in retrospect, especially. But even at the time, it was probably the right thing for him to decide not to do that. But it meant that all these people kind of came in.
Yeah.
They scared away a lot of the old guys and a lot of the old donors and whatever. And then but in the 1-2 punch, the two never came. So it was just sort of the kind of, was disruptive without being as constructive as it very well could have been, under other circumstances. But
would Dave run again, or is that just not a possibility?
Oh, I think, probably not.
I can't imagine once you have two kids, if you chose not to run the first time, you're going to run again.
It would have to be a real particular set of circumstances.
Well, they would be older at that point.
So I guess maybe when they're in their 20s.
A very long time. He'd be like in his 60s, right?
Yeah. He'd be a better president than basically any we've had so far. I got just a question about how you've devoted a ton of your life to anti-war and promoting that and exposing that and showing people exactly what's going on. You do incredible amounts of research. Your books have so many citations in them. It's crazy. What about that specific topic makes you so driven to research and pursue it and have that kind of one-track mind? Because I'm fascinated by that, because I can't do that. I don't have that one-track mind.
Well, it's really a Ron Paulian thing, right? To oppose the worst things first. And that's the worst thing about America, is the empire.
Yeah.
And not to be a jerk about it, but never even mind the people on the receiving end of our foreign policy over there.
Right.
It's the worst thing about our government here. It creates this national security state, this entire kind of post-constitutional national security order that we've had since World War II. That has really buried the last of American federalism. And I mean, the Union as described in the Constitution, it's just nothing like this. And it's because of the world empire. You can't have a limited constitutional world empire.
Right.
They need central banking, they need income taxation, and I mean, quite frankly, they need, if necessary, FBI and CIA control of the state legislatures to make sure that they stay in line with national goals and wouldn't dare stray, you know?
Yeah.
To the point where now, I mean, even like your Democrat college professor would agree that the states are now big counties in one big nation state, the United States of America. It's not, you know, the United States it's the United States is. And it's really been like that since Lincoln, but especially since the Second World War, where it's just the last, you know, remnants of the old republic have been swept away, as Moff Tarkin might say. So, so that's the thing. If we want to be a normal country, then we have to end the warfare scene. Then on top of that, add how about all those people overseas?
Right.
Who literally had their lives torn to shreds by high explosives over bullshit.
Yeah.
Right, over total lies, over serving foreign interests, whether it's the Israelis or the Saudis, the British or whoever, at American expense and in our name and staining our name permanently. You know, like I think I mentioned this on the Pierce Morgan show. That, like when they do things like kill all those kids in the first strike in Iran, when they launched the surprise attack on Iran. That's a stain on this country's, whatever, our, not just our reputation, right? Like in some superficial way, like on our brand name, but like on our history of who we are. This is what, and look, I know we are not the government, especially at a libertarian convention. We all understand we're all individuals and we only share a very small portion of responsibility for what our national government does.
Yeah.
But like, is it also, though, not the case that this society does not reject this militarism out of hand and outright and does not do a damn thing to do anything about it ever?
Well,
I joked in my Afghan book that it's the most opposed or least supported and least opposed war in history. Because nobody supported it. The support for the Afghan war was at like 12%. 12%. And then they would ask, what's the biggest concern about America? What are the biggest challenges you think are facing the country right now? And it would be an open-ended question. And then they publish the top 30 answers. And Afghanistan wouldn't even be on there at all.
Jeez.
So nobody supported an ongoing war, but they didn't give a shit that it was an ongoing war that they didn't support.
Right.
And like that's kind of been the public's attitude about the whole thing. So if we could build a real consensus against it, in fact, we are making progress in that. Like, for example, why isn't Trump pouring ground troops into Iran? Because he dare not. Because he knows not because he's afraid of liberal Democrats, but because he's afraid of conservative Republicans and MAGA voters and how they would react. So that is important. We are making progress. And I'm sorry, because you were going to.
No, I was just going to say that to a lot of people, especially like my grandparents, 9/11 will be worse than anything that we do to them. Like they will always think that 9/11 is the worst thing that's happened to us, and what we do to them will never be as bad as what they've done to us.
And everything we've done is justified, that kind of mentality.
I feel that every time I talk to her about it, the wars that we do overseas, and it's just always like we got to defeat the terrorists. Like if we don't, like there will be another like 9/11 or something like that.
I blame the media for that. Like I don't really blame regular civilian people, you know. I have a story similar to that where it was a little old lady who was a friend of mine's mom, and I was over at his house visiting, and I hadn't seen her in like 20 years since I was a little kid, 30 years, since I was like in high school. And I saw her over at my buddy's house, and there was one of the attacks in Paris, France, by the ISIS guys in the late Obama years, and this sweet little old lady, who I knew her like a long time ago too. She was always a really nice mom, you know? And she says, I guess we just have to use nukes and just kill all of them. And I go, well, what makes you say that, you know? She goes, well, we tried everything. Right? In other words, we tried killing a lot of them and that didn't work. So we just kill the rest of them, I guess. And the thing is about it is like, what a horrible thing for a little old lady to say. But at the same time, like, she was just a sweet little old lady. You know what I mean? So like in a way, to me, the way I interpreted that was less of her genocidal bloodlust and more of just her total ignorance and exasperation that these terrorist attacks keep happening. She takes it for granted that our government is doing their very best to make it go away, and it won't. So what are we supposed to do? And so based on like so little information in the first place, she's just like can only think of like a total solution of just like end all the enemy. They say that Islam causes this. Let's just get rid of Islam then. She didn't know how many people that means. She didn't know what it means to hit a city with a nuclear weapon. Not
Right.
really. You know what I mean? She's just essentially like expressing
I mean, we
a
did it.
void where TV news should have explained to her what is really going on here, and where she could have had more to stand on. And same for your grandparents. That like, isn't it funny how radical Islam stopped being a problem from 2016 to 2000 and like I guess 23
Yeah,
when
23,
October
yeah.
7th. But for a while there was just Russia, and all of a sudden radical Islam stopped making people be suicide bombers anymore. Right?
Yeah.
When like that wasn't true. It was just they had spent their force trying to fight us in Iraq, and then Obama built their force back up again in Syria and Iraq, but then he went to war against it again. And so they were like kind of half working for us and sort of playing down the terrorists, you know, here and there. And then there were a few attacks, like I say, in the 20-teens in Europe. There are no real like further attacks in America after Trump won, I don't think. Hope I'm not missing any big ones, but certainly the overall
That's what I can
narrative
think of.
this juggernaut of radical Islamist terrorism that will stop at nothing to destroy America. That whole story went on hiatus for like 6 years, and then it came back again. Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Them Islams, they hate us. Like, come on, man. What's really happening here is, especially when we're talking about the bin Ladens, is these are America, Britain, and Saudi Arabia's terrorists that we use to kill Shiites and Russians and Serbs. And then sometimes they blow back and kill our guys too, because they are terrorists. That's what terrorists are.
Yeah.
As, not to quote Vladimir Putin, but as Vladimir Putin once said, you know, you shouldn't support terrorists like this because they can blow back and hit you too.
Well,
There's Russian propaganda here on your show, you know?
I love it. No, we're gonna clip that for sure.
I have.
Well-
Are you about to like end it? Because I haven't.
We're
like,
gonna okay. Ask one more question. Yeah.
Because I watch you when you go on Pierce's show. I just want to know kind of like how, if that's fun for you to go on those panels.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Oh, no?
I mean, kind of. Well, like if it's a real bad guy and I totally
Who's
smoke
the
his
bad,
ass,
like,
then yeah.
like
But-
who's the real bad guy that you?
See, on his show, I went up against an Israeli Defense Ministry spokesman one
Mm-hmm.
time, not too long ago, actually. I've gone up against others who are not that bad. They're like kind of bad, but they're lower profile people, so they're, you know, maybe not, you wouldn't consider them that bad overall. I went up against Wesley Clark 4 times on there, and I believe I kicked his ass soundly all 4 times.
Didn't he like kind of agree with you though, or no? Or am
Well,
I?
yeah, that was the thing. Like well, look, it's cheating to have done this as long as I have, right? So like, where Wesley Clark is just shoveling shit his whole career, I'm like carrying vendettas about Wesley Clark with me at my age. You know what I mean? So I know all these things about him. I just wrote a book about him. You know what I mean? He's in there. And so I can corner him on like, you agreed with me before you changed your mind. And you're wrong now, but you were right then. And let me quote, right? And then I can I can do that to him. I know about him, what he thought in 1996. He's like, oh yeah, I did say that. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of cheating a little to do that. And then also just circumstances cheated on my behalf. And the first one especially, because what happened, the very first one was I was on a panel. And they interrupted the panel to interview him. And then they brought him on with the panel. And then they just let him I said one thing more, and then they all kind of piled on me and whatever. So I didn't have, and he got to go on and on and on. So it's like totally unbalanced time. So I tweeted at Pierce Morgan and says, hey man, let's try this again. Me and Wesley Clark, only just me and him in a debate. So he's like, all right, bet, let's do it on Monday. And I was like, all right, let's see you there, dude. So So that was the setup for it. And then over the fucking weekend, Al Qaeda sacked Damascus, and fucking Assad fled to Moscow. So we start the show on Monday with, so Al Qaeda fucking rules Syria now. What do you think, Scott? And I'm like, well, I'll tell you exactly what's going on here. In such a way that, like, what was he going to say? That I was wrong? Like, I'm telling you, I'll tell you the date of the article you can go find where he told U.S. government TV that he fought Americans in Mosul and Ramadi in Iraq War II. This is our new guy that we've just installed in power here. And Israel and Turkey and America are all bragging about helping make it happen. And Wesley Clark's like, shit, I don't know what to say. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. And I'm like, frankly, it's treason. That was the headline. It's treason. It's the headline on the show. And he couldn't help but admit, like, to back bin Ladenites just because you hate the Shiites more, just because you're a Zionist. Let me think about that. No, that is wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the same thing as Mike Flynn. You know, he's no dove. Donald Trump's national security advisor there for a minute. He hates Iran. He wrote a whole book about Iran, and I'm pretty sure he supported bombing them last June and this time again. I'm fairly certain about that. But he was like, but back bin Ladenites against Iran's friends in Syria? Are you crazy? I said I hate the Ayatollah. Let's just kill the Ayatollah. Why do we gotta back Osama bin Laden's guys? That doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense.
Like, yes, okay, bin Ladenites hate Shiites, and we hate Shiites, but come on.
Yeah.
It wasn't Hezbollah knocked our towers down. That was Al Qaeda that did that.
Right.
So,
I feel like we've done this kind of thing before.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the same thing with Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was never against the war on terrorism. She's hardcore for the war on terrorism. She was against the war for terrorism. What are we doing? I was just in the last war. And now you want me to switch sides?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Because she could still tell the shirts from the skins, where other people didn't know who was who. She knew who was who.
Yeah.
Why did it take her so long to leave?
Oh, this, well, look, I don't know specifically. But have you ever seen Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith?
I've never seen Star Wars.
Okay, well, listen, when you do, make sure and watch on the the original movies, you get the despecialized editions.
Okay.
That way you get the original stuff without any of the like late CGI bullshit they added to them. Okay,
Yeah.
you get the despecialized.
Okay.
And then when you watch the prequels, you watch the anti-cheese edits where they cut out a bunch of the shitty shit, and then it's really good.
Okay.
Anyway, so there's a scene in there where the evil Sith Lord, he tells the heroic Jedi Knight, he says, listen, all with power are afraid to lose it, even the Jedi. Same thing with Tulsi Gabbard, same thing with every soldier you ever met who was ever in a squad who fought in a war. I'll tell you the same thing. If I wasn't there, it'd be worse. I'm not going to let my guys go out there, especially when you're talking about actual soldiers. I'm not going to let my guys go out there without me, right? But like if you're Yoda and your job is protecting the whole Republic from tyranny, then you can't imagine what the Republic would be like without you to protect it, right? And then so if you're Tulsi Gabbard and you're the Director of National Intelligence, I guarantee you, I'm completely speculating here, but I guarantee you that her thought process is, you should see the shit I'm holding back. And you freak if you knew how bad it would be if I wasn't here to stop some of the worst stuff from going through.
So why did
And
she
so I
just-
think that is how pretty much all bureaucrats rationalize continuing to participate in evil. It's not going to be one big general strike where they all quit. But if it ain't me, it's going to be Cambone, and you don't want that kook.
Right.
You know?
Then why is she leaving now? Is it really because?
Well, I think she got forced out. I mean, there was
Oh,
a
okay.
story that said that the CIA had been spying on her. And then the head of the CIA didn't resign, she did.
Wow.
So I don't know. And I don't know.
Interesting.
And they say, I mean,
know
her
that.
husband is sick with cancer, but usually people don't quit their job because their spouse, I forgot who I'm mimicking. I saw someone say that.
Yeah.
Usually people get a second job
Right.
when their spouse has cancer, right? They don't-
Right.
So I don't know. But
Interesting.
I think she must have been forced out. And, you know, Trump, she should have quit when Trump said, I don't listen to her. I don't care what she says.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I guess since I'm
Guess
not
I'm
being
done.
in service, then I guess I'll go ahead and leave.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry about my Star Wars tangent.
No,
However, whatsoever.
I mean, I'm sure
That's
the
the
audience
answer.
would get it. Like
Yes.
they know the reference. I don't need to know.
But that's the answer, is anybody with real power and authority. Same thing in the Libertarian Party. People can't stand the idea that it would be the other guys, because as bad as I might be, boy, the other guys are worse. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what all party politics are based on, right? Is like the two parties are these giant coalitions of factions organized around the principle of keeping the other organization of factions out because they're worse.
Yeah.
That's basically it, right? No one believes in the Republicans or the Democrats, but a lot of people hate the Republicans and the Democrats, so they'll support the other. You know?
Yeah. Well, Scott, man, I appreciate everything you do for spreading freedom and liberty and spreading the word on anti-war. Everything, all the stuff that you've researched, everything that you've done, antiwar.com, fantastic. It's my homepage on my computer, so
Thank you. Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Thank you for sitting down with us.